Hello there everyone, welcome to another episode here on Gorbad Ironclaw. So I'm getting the Wild Hunt event. So in essence, I'm trying to speed up things a little bit, and what I was actually afraid that could happen is actually likely gonna happen, which is, of course, so we got the ultimate campaign victory. Now every single wood is full of wood elves. And there's a big problem with this, which is because I'm at war with the Belegar, and he's very close to these guys. So it means that before I can even deal with Belegar, likely the Wild Hunt is going to happen, and I'm going to have to deal with them. So that's a big deal. And I'm not even going against the Empire. So a big issue about this victory is that you can get bogged down with going to the south instead of going against the Empire, and it all revolves around whether or not the Order Tide is successful or not. Because if the Empire was, struggling, I would have gone there way faster, but it wasn't. It was just getting stronger and stronger, and I kept thinking, ooh, I can't go there. I still cannot go there. So the good thing is that I got rid of Ulmgrim. The good thing is that Belegar doesn't seem like it's going to be too difficult to tackle with. The main difficulty is just the expansion. And the worst part is that very soon I'm going to be under attack by the Empire, by Whistleland and Nuln. There's an armies here that I have to respect. They have like 4 Thunderbarges and such. I'll have to see what happens. And the worst part is that I have almost no plans. So I need to get Gorbad fighting as soon as I can. And I'm having issues with money, which I shouldn't have too much. So from now on, I'm not going to concentrate too much on building stuff, because it's not like the next building is going to make all the difference, and instead just focus on getting some garrisons and getting some income. So I'm trying to recover the lost grounds here from the, what I basically have been doing is just trying to ensure that I don't, lose territory and stuff. Try to just get Nurgle, a little bit of their medicine, let's say, because I really want to take out Nurgle. But that's always the problem, taking out Nurgle also means that I'll need to expand into the direction, more enemies, but it's still better than nothing, So what I really want to see is if I can go over this area. I feel like most of these battles shouldn't be a problem after the last battle, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So I'll likely be resuming this video very soon, after a couple of turns have passed, after I've defeated some of these armies, and just made sure that I fought and destroyed anything that I could. And even sometimes I'll fight these battles just to make sure that I don't lose reinforcements for nothing because of how auto-resolve works. So, yeah, we spent some turns. We lost the Misty Mountains here, and they started recruiting immediately some units. That's the worst part about Kugath, is that Nurgle can recruit tons of units really, really fast. And now there's some enemy armies coming in. I still haven't shown these giants fighting. That's such a bad thing, actually. And there's another army coming in here. I hope to try and recover Karakirn. So I'm thinking on conquering it and then forcing him to come over. And I gotta be careful of conquering too much territory and being, having the Empire as neighbors too long may cause some issues. It may cause some issues, So right now I just want to advance like I've done here on Nurgle territory. That was easy. And then peace out with them. And likely be in a position where I can take out Nurgle. Or even just take out some of their territories. They don't seem to have very huge garrisons here. Typically the enemy will have a wall. Like their biggest garrisons will be in the front lines, and then as soon as you breach through it, you won't have that issue, which is kind of good for you, of course. But yeah, I can already get a peace treaty and a lot of money from them, but I want to, unless they give me the Misty Mountains, I'm not going to take it. Yeah, not going to take that because I really want that settlement, and I would likely get even another one. So I spent some gems. I did capture Karakirn here, so as mentioned, and now there's this battle against, this army. It tells me that it's a poor result because I have so much cavalry, and he counts the Thunderbarges as being completely immune, but that's not the case. And if I want to attack, it has to be right now because I'm one turn away from losing some of the benefits that I have there from the tactics, including more armor, which is always nice. So, especially against those Thunderbarges, so what else have we seen? I'm trying to get some goodies here, yeah? Trying to just get some goodies here and trying to just see if I can defend around these places. By the way, you're seeing the attrition in my armies. That's because I don't have enough gold, and that's kind of fine. You're going to see that I'm going to resolve that very simply. So I'm going to go into a defensive alliance with this guy and now join Confederation. I actually saw that this was possible, the Confederation, that they would go for it. So I thought maybe if I get the defensive alliance next turn, the Confederation, but it seems like they went for it. And my plan was I'm going to abuse the trade settlements. Guys, this is such an abuse. I'm on Legendary, okay? And this is such an abuse. I wish it wasn't possible or there were some conditions to do this, because you're going to see this. It's like I'm going to trade settlements that would never pay off that amount of gold, like in forever. This settlement, yeah, it would give me 900 per turn. So I'm going to give it to the Chevaliers of Lyonesse. What is your purpose? Let me give him Nahudl. Yeah, there we go. Let me give him that for a non-aggression pact that would never be possible and 12,000 gold. So that's like what? 12 turns of that, and the good relations. It's always, and I don't have to defend that place, which I would never always have to. And now that settlement, the Deadhead Monoliths, I can get a military alliance. I really don't want to for now. I can just get better relations with him, and get 85,000 from Kairos Faith Weaver. Okay, I can spend that money on some buildings and to finalize almost all the buildings that I want, and to just ensure that I can get some armies, And yeah, that would be great. I have some good garrisons all over the place. You have seen me fight some of these garrison armies, and they're just good to deplete the enemy out of some of their forces, which is great. Then they'll become just way weaker and way easier to fight. I'm also predicting that these dwarfs, they're gonna attack me. The dwarfs down here. What are they called? Thoric is likely going to attack me. There's no way that I'm doing all these deals against, I'm attacking Clan Angren. I have destroyed Ungrim, so there's no way that the other dwarf races are going to be fine with that. So I got to be careful with that. I'm not sure if I want to showcase too much of me just building up stuff. I certainly need to get Ironclaw fighting because I need the plans. And one thing that I would change in my approach is the mentor skill. The mentor skill would allow me to reach level 30 with a lot of my lords much faster, which then turns their plans infinite, so I wouldn't need so many plans. I wasn't counting that Gorbad wouldn't have so many battles. Maybe I've been moving them too much around instead of just focusing him down against a specific enemy that have a lot of battles and such. And right now I wish I wasn't required to fight this battle with Oglok the Horrible, but I'm gonna have to fight because I wanted to fight with Gorbad to get the plans I wish you would get the plans by, you know, any lord, but that's not how it works. Okay, so the battle, the first line is just the settlement units. They're depleted. They're gonna take in the first volleys, the first charges, and that means that the second arm, the Blackworks, are gonna attack almost without suffering anything. Then my archers, they're gonna shoot like maybe 2 archers to each of the Thunderbarges. The reinforcements, they'll be, you know, my reinforcements will deal with their reinforcements, that's fine. And my cavalry is just going to go around and deal with the enemy missiles. And my lord, this is so important when fighting Thunderbarges. Be very careful of that harpoon. Like 3 harpoons or even 1 harpoon can be devastating to your lords. So as you can see here, this is the early charge of the garrison troops. So I'm not even worried about these troops. These are here to die. These are here really truly to die. And the Thunderbarges, they're not going to cause too much damage. I think these gyro bombers are even going to cause more damage actually. But I'm already attacking them with some of my archers. And that's the thing, my Blackworks are going to punish their strengths, their front line, because their front line almost had nothing. And my cavalry is going to demolish their back line, like completely demolish their back line. So no more artillery for you. I don't care if you have so many units, no more rangers, no more. It doesn't matter if they are armored or not. All of my cavalry is armor piercing, so that's the good part. And suddenly, as you're seeing, their gyrocopters are nearly dead. These Thunderbarges are nearly dead as well. So as soon as one gets killed, it becomes even easier for the other archer units. They have enough armor piercing damage, by the way. Don't get too much focused on that. Oh, I need armor piercing. No, you don't. You need some amount of armor piercing to deal with these guys. Of course, they have a good amount of a healthy amount of armor, but it's not essential. You just need to deal with everything else on the floor as well, and suddenly the leadership also helps, you know, and suddenly they're trying to flee, and that's always good. So that's 2 Thunderbarges down already, and the gyrocopters, I think they're gonna be down very soon. And I'm already hitting them like 4 archers to a Thunderbarge. My lord is attacking, he has a wyvern, is attacking them as well. And I don't think I lose a single unit on this combat actually. My Blackworks certainly are doing a great job, so that's the good part. And yeah. And yes, he activates the afterburner, which also deletes the hit points a little bit more, but it's not like it deletes it that fast. Yeah, most of the damage is coming in from my archers. And all of this army is retreating except the Slayer units, so I'm just going to send in some units here. There's plenty of goblins to deal with them, but I'm just going to send in, you know, some of my faster units, my lord. My cavalry units are just busy attacking everything. So that's how you turn a crushing defeat, or you know, a close defeat, into a almost decisive victory. So yeah, and that's how the AI can analyze your auto resolve and be very, very mistaken. You know, here's Gotrek in the wrong army. Honestly, he should have a very good army. He doesn't have Felix around either, so this is going to be just very easy for us. And all that is left is actually to just kill Gotrek. And I'm still getting reinforcements, because some of my units, you know, the ones that were retreating, you know, the initial garrison units, they're leaving the battlefield, and so I get some more reinforcements, which is great. And Gotrek can do all this, but I'm thinking I'm sending my lords and heroes to deal with him and just, you know, debuff him, buff the units around, and that will be enough. I think there's like a unit of big guns that shows up here. I send them to attack him, and that's kind of like the end of it. And all the time, by the way, if you're thinking, what are you doing? You know, it's literally just telling my cavalry to attack other targets because they're more important, just to ensure that I'm chasing them off. So yeah, that's how you defeat an army with Gotrek reinforcing and with 4 Thunderbarges. It's not that difficult. You know, Thunderbarges can't hit everything. You know, they're good, but you don't need flyers to deal with them. You can do this with just archer units, you know? And basic archers at that. You know, orc arrow boys are quite basic. So I'm giving orc boys and orc big guns like 106 melee attack with a mumbo jumbo. So they're hitting Gotrek really well. That's nice. And that's all she wrote. So this is just the update on this campaign, basically. Yeah, they approach with floaty boom boom boats full of Daka, but we've destroyed them. And I don't agree that that's a close victory. That was very good. I didn't lose almost anything. So I'm gonna take the treasury, actually. I don't feel... or the replenishment. What should I take? I don't feel there's a problem there. So Gorbad Ironclaw, I certainly need to have some fights so that I can get some more of the plans. Yeah, but I really don't want him fleeing with the more, you know, with the lords. So I'm just gonna fight this guy out without you guys watching. And I'll see you guys next episode. Thank you very much, guys, for watching and for the support of the campaign. Bye bye.